Jared Leto's Morbius is the next Sony Marvel movie, confirms producer. That is the headline on this week's Movie Burner News. And joining us as always is John, and this news comes in from Screen Rant, John, in regards to the next upcoming Sony Marvel movie. This obviously comes out after Venom, which hasn't really gained momentum, John, in regards to certainly its release here in the UK. Jumping the gun, perhaps?
Most definitely jumped the gun. We were talking about the Monsterverse, Stephen. I can't remember, was it Warner Brothers or was it Universal? I can't recall, it doesn't even matter. It was an abomination. Now, of course, the Mummy film starring Tom Cruise, an absolute abomination of a film. They got ahead of themselves. They set up a whole universe. They released a photograph of all these various different actors, including Russell Crowe and so on, apparently starring in all these different roles. Turned out the Mummy film was an unmitigated disaster, a box office flop, a critical flop, an audience flopped in all ways imaginable, and so did the universe. It crumbled around them. I feel Sony may be doing the same thing here. I'm willing this Venom film to do well. I'm willing it on to success because Tom Hardy's there. Love Tom Hardy, one of my favourite actors. Great guy off the screen as well, as I've said, in a number of different shows we've did. So I do hope this film is a success, but this just feels like they're getting ahead of themselves here, announcing the sequel to this film before it even hits the theatres. And as you did say, it's splitting opinion down the middle. Some people think it looks utter shite, some people think it looks quite good. I have to say the visuals are okay. I like that brief little action sequence we got of the Venom character. He's a towering figure, that looked okay. The story just looks average. I don't know if it's going to be a success or it's going to justify a continuation of this universe, but Sony have invested a lot into this Marvel universe. They're going to go ahead with it anyway. And the character of Morbius is actually a very interesting character. I've been doing a little bit of research into this character, Stephen. I don't know if you want to come in and speak before I get into this, because I will be gibbering on for a good bit about this character.
If this is the road they're going to go down, John, it shows you that Spider-Man is not a very popular boy. He's got a lot of enemies out there.
He's got a lot of enemies.
This is going to be another one. It's centred around the Spider-Man villains again.
Is he going to be fighting Venom? How's this going to work? How are they going to interconnect this? Feels like a lot of standalone films with their own self-contained stories, not really interconnecting all that much.
I don't think the formula's going to work, John, to be honest with you. You need some kind of... it's all right making maybe one or two movies, about villains. Yeah. It's not been a tried and tested formula as of yet. The Venom one's out there, but whether or not that's going to perform here in the box office will remain to be seen. But as you said, there's a lot of negative feedback already on that one, and I think they are jumping the gun a little here. It's very similar to this monster universe, where they set this template up before they really get going, and that's how that universe failed. I don't know, I think this is just the common trend with studios at the moment. We've seen DC failing at it, arguably. As you said, Warner Brothers as well. Whether or not Sony will fall foul to this as well will remain to be seen. But just before I let you back in, John, the casting of Jared Leto as well. We know that he's no stranger to comic book characters. He is at the moment portraying the Joker. Certainly has in the Suicide Squad, and for some future films as well that are going to come out in the next 3 to 4 years. Is this a good casting call? Because I don't really know too much about the character Morbius. I do know about Jared Leto's performances in previous movies. He's a reliable actor you can go to and get the best out of him. He's very much a method actor anyway. So from the actor's point of view, I think they've got a good actor in place. But whether or not the film will succeed, Morbius, I don't know anything about, I've got to be honest. Yeah,
well, I'll do my best to try and fill you in, Stephen, because I've done a little bit of research. But one of the things I will say firstly is that there's been a lot of criticism of this film anyway. There was talk about this film being a thing about a month or two back. I think it was July, around about late July, it was announced this may be happening. And one of the first criticisms was that he's a very obscure character anyway, even in the world of the comics. Out with avid comic book readers, not a lot of people know a lot about this character. And that was one of the main criticisms. Why, if they're going to do this villain universe, would they not focus on the arch villains and the main prominent figures that have obviously been antagonistic figures for Spider-Man throughout the years? The likes of Dr. Octopus, Chameleon, Venom, which they're doing. Electro, Craven the Hunter, Lizard, Carnage, Hobgoblin, guys like that. Norman Osborn as well, who is also the Green Goblin as well.
Sandman as well.
Yeah, so why would they not focus on the primary guys? Get these guys all banding together. Then if this does turn out to be a success, and they can somehow borrow Spider-Man off of the MCU, or just bring him back because I think they hold the rights to him, then you've got all these primary antagonists all fleshed out, and they can do something to interconnect them with Spider-Man. But no, they're going with this obscure figure, and I've been researching this figure, Stephen. He appeared first and all the way back in 1971. He's called Morbius the Living Vampire. Of course, he's a vampire. But it's an interesting backstory. I don't know if we'd get this backstory in this film, but it's all about a man, a young boy who was born with an affliction surrounding his blood. It weakened his bones in his hands. He couldn't pick things up, so he poured all of his time and his hard work into the mental side of things, becoming amazing academically. I think he became a Nobel Peace Prize winner, doing work on hematology or something, the blood. He found a cure for his condition, but it turned him into a vampire. And the side effect was he had to go and feast on other people's blood to sustain himself. And it's the backstory is very intriguing. He's an intriguing character. His powers are very interesting. He's termed a pseudo vampire because although he is technically a vampire, he's not a full blown one. He can step out into sunlight. He can be around religious artifacts. He can be stabbed in the heart with a stake, and it doesn't kill him. Apparently, he's got the healing abilities of like a Wolverine, but not to the extent of Wolverine. But he can heal himself from broken bones and stuff within a matter of 10 minutes or something. So he's hardy, he's fast, he's strong, he's agile. He's got the athleticism of like a professional athlete. His powers depend apparently on how much he feeds, but he possesses healing factors, as I did say. He can't regrow limbs, but he can be shot and heal from it. And he's apparently got infrared and night vision and an acute sense of smell. He's got all of these incredible abilities. He apparently can even levitate as well. He can utilise wind currents and levitate. And they do go on to say that, ironically, it's the character's lack of weaknesses that mark him as something special. He's not got the sheer strength of like a traditional vampire character in the MCU or in the Marvel universe. But apparently he's a very strong character. He's got all these hosts of amazing abilities, and he's got a unique backstory. And I think he's very much like Venom as well, and that he's quite a relatable character. He's not an out-and-out traditional villain. I think they say that during his stint in the comic book runs, he's been very much like an anti-hero as opposed to an out-and-out villain. The most recent version that popped up in a publication apparently was all villain. But in terms of the actual casting, I would be very happy with Jared Leto doing this. Producer does say, he says, we're obviously working on Morbius now. That's the next sort of step for us. But he does go on to say at some point in this article that it's a similar level of intensity and charisma and devotion to the character. He's talking about Leto. It gives him an opportunity to demonstrate that. He's a very talented man, is Jared Leto. We've seen that before. Yeah. And he's a bit of a chameleon as well. He can take on all sorts of characters. So I'm absolutely sure he would be great. You just look at the character as well. He's got long, straggly hair. He's got that gauntish face. He's quite a chiselled, muzzly guy. So Jared fits the bill.
Yeah, looks like a goth.
He does look like a goth. Yes.
But yeah, you're right, John. I think with this Birds of Prey rescheduling as well, I think this has helped push this project to the forefront because it means that the Suicide Squad 2 will be pushed back, leaving that window for Jared Leto to step into the shoes of Morbius. Just going back to what you were saying, John, in regards to the character, I know a little bit more about the character now from that description, but one thing that I'll say about Venom is that that character's conflicted, part Venom and part Eddie Brock, and Tom Hardy is playing the antagonist and the protagonist in that film. I don't know how this is going to work, whether we're going to have a strong sort of hero in this movie that's not been announced. I'm not sure. But
they do say in this article, Stephen, that apparently the villain of the film is going to be Emil Nikos, who's apparently Morbius' best friend, and he was the first victim in the comics. So,
well, that may work, but how long that could work over the stretch of a movie, I don't know, because at some point you're going to have to not like Morbius. He's, he is a villain at the end of the day. So it'll remain to be seen how this works. I know that the production I think it's due to start at the end of this year on this movie, so they're certainly getting the wheels in motion, and normally is the case when the producer comes out and says they're ready to go, and they announce one of the leading actors of the film as well, so they're ready to start production very shortly. But we'll certainly look out for more as it develops in this movie. But we're going to move on. We're just going to go right into a series of trailers that dropped over the last 7 days, John. We're going to begin with Creed 2. This is Adonis Creed. I certainly enjoyed the first movie, Michael B. Jordan playing the son of Apollo Creed. This film, I was a little bit wary when it was first announced that they were reintroducing the character of Ivan Drago back into the franchise, because I kind of accepted that Rocky Balboa would be playing some kind of a background character in this, assisting Adonis Creed in his steps to becoming a world-class fighter, and I got that. It was part of the Rocky universe anyway, so you've got to have Rocky in there. But one thing I was very concerned about with the original movie was the character Rocky going to take over? Was he going to have a big shadow over the Adonis Creed character? It certainly didn't. It worked. I thought that Ryan Coogler did a fantastic job in that original movie. I know he's not coming back for this one. It's going to be Stephen Caple Jr. that's directing this, after Sylvester Stallone was penciled in to be directing this film, but he's took a step back. We're getting Caple Jr. coming in, and I was concerned with the character of the reintroduction of Ivan Drago coming back into this, because that is another big shadow. But certainly from this trailer, it looks like Rocky and Drago are certainly in the background. I'm kind of glad in a way. It would have been very interesting to see how these characters would have reacted to each other. Maybe we'll see this in the movie. We certainly don't see it in the trailer. They're really in the background, which I kind of like, because this story is more about the Creeds. It's not about Balboas. It's not about the Dragos. This is about Creeds. And one thing I did like about Michael B. Jordan's performance was that it did remind me of a young Apollo Creed. A lot of anger issues. Obviously, his upbringing certainly had a different upbringing to Apollo, and I just like to see this legacy carry on, but going in a different direction. And I'll let you in now, John, with your thoughts on the trailer.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the trailer. I thought it was very, very good, and it's got my anticipation raised for this film. I think this is going to be one of the biggest releases of the year. Certainly, I'm really anticipating it. Just off the back of this trailer, I thought it was incredible. Everything about it, the theme subtly broke into the Rocky theme at the end. I noticed that was quite cool the way they did that. And obviously it hints at the conflict within his family. I'm taking on this guy, Victor Drago. He's dead set on facing this guy. This guy's called him out to a fight. I believe Adonis is the world champion at this point. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I'm pretty sure he's the champion at this point. Also, the previous trailer hints that he gets injured during the fight. He's also coming back. This guy's called him out. He's accepted the fight. His family are not happy about it. We see in the trailer his wife or his partner holding a baby. So he's got a young family. And I believe it's his mother says, basically, don't use your family as an excuse or something along those lines of justifying fighting this guy. Don't use your father. This is all about you. It's your decision. And even Rocky's telling him this guy's got nothing to lose. That guy being Victor Drago. And you're right, Rocky and Ivan are playing very much peripheral figures in this trailer. I don't know if that's going to be the case in the actual film, but there's side to it. The main story, this is all about Adonis facing destiny, really. It's kind of a foreshadowing his father as well. His father went on this journey fighting Ivan. He died. I don't see Adonis dying in this film. No chance. This is a franchise that's going to set up around the magnificent actor that is Michael B. Jordan. They ain't going to kill him off. So I think this is going to be him basically righting the wrongs of what happened to his dad. It looks like a powerful story. Again, showing his family, the familial side of this, much like First Man we were talking about last week. These guys go off and basically face destiny, but you see the impact it has on the people around about them. In terms of the visuals, I thought the visuals were absolutely incredible. I did say I loved the music, and I really did. It's got occasional dramatic beats in there, which I thought was just added to the whole feeling of it. It got you pumped. I heard someone saying if you don't feel anything watching this trailer, then you're not human, and I completely agree. I believe the main song was Kendrick Lamar's Loyalty, but I'm sure it blended into the Rocky theme towards the end. But Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's just some of the training montage as well. You see him in the pool, punching under the water. That push-up where he's grabbing the ropes and flexing it. That's incredible. It's reminiscent of the classic Rocky films where he's also doing the one-handed and the finger push-ups and all these working out. We don't see much of Victor Drago. We get little glimpses of him, but that moment where he's towering over him in the ring, he's an imposing figure. I said to you before we came on, he doesn't look a damn thing like Ivan Drago. I said that when he was announced it was going to be playing him. It didn't look like him. That's kind of taking me out a bit because he doesn't look anything like Dolph Lundgren. But hey ho, that's life. He's been cast and they'll do a job. That scene with him training in the pool, incidentally, is a take-off of a classic photograph of Muhammad Ali training underwater. All in all, we see him visiting his father's gravestone and stuff like that as well. It's really playing in the emotional heartstrings of this character. He also didn't have a big part in his dad's life. He didn't know him. We're getting to see him really want to rewrite history, righting the wrong that Ivan had committed on his family. And yeah, I can't wait to see this film. I thought the trailer was incredible. One of the best ones I've seen.
Yeah, it comes out 30th of November this year, John. I'm certainly looking forward to it. It's interesting to see Wood Harris is playing Tony Littleduke. Obviously, Tony Burton sadly passed away a few years ago. He played Tony, or Duke. I think he had two names actually. I think it was called Tony and Rocky, and then Duke for the rest of the franchise. But you're right. There's a lot of scenes in this that mirror Rocky 4. I can see there's a lot of inspiration there. Certainly though, that scene with Drago towering over Creed, that reminds me of Rocky 4 very much so. But I'm looking forward to this. I know that Ryan Coogler, I think he's only got writing credits in this film, certainly for the characters that he created for that original movie, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It took me by surprise, John, and I hope that the tone of this trailer stays true to the movie throughout. I don't really want to see too much of Rocky and Ivan Drago going over old ground. I mean, it's been 33 years since that fight. It's a long time.
They made up, Stephen.
No, well, at the end of Rocky 4, I think Drago was resigned to the fact he was beaten. Yeah. Didn't go off like a petulant child or anything like that. Accepted it and I assumed moved on. Certainly from Adonis's point of view, he can't move on till he rights a few wrongs. Certainly from what we're gathering from this trailer anyway, that he's I don't know if it's revenge, I don't know if that's the best word. He is the light heavyweight champion of the world at this point as well, so there's no reason for him to really challenge Drago unless Drago is the one wanting to challenge him.
I think he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all in all, it's going to be great. I know it is because it's got a good director, Stephen Capel Jr., and the writing credentials of Coogler and Sly Stallone in there as well. And these characters have grown on the audience as well over the last 3 years since the original movie. But we're going to move on, John, to our next trailer. This is another one that came in over the last 7 days. It's first Dark Phoenix trailer that sets the stage for the X-Men versus Jean Grey. We obviously got the character of Jean Grey, or this portrayal, in the previous film, Apocalypse. Yeah. Hints of her powers were certainly in that movie. And a lot of people didn't like Apocalypse because I think it was the movie that came right after Days of Future Past, so a bit of an anticlimax for a lot of people. I felt it was getting back into the sort of the theme and the tone of First Class. It was getting back into that, moving away from the old characters or the old actors that played the characters from Days of Future Past and getting back into their own again. Very similar to First Class. I liked it. This trailer, I like the visuals. I think the visuals are stunning in this. We're getting to see a lot of what Jean Grey is capable of and what she's up against. One of the things that I kind of got from the trailer as well, it reminded me too much of First Class, unfortunately, with the conflicting relationship between Professor X and Raven from First Class. We're now getting the same kind of relationship with Professor X and the Dark Phoenix, aka Jean Grey.
Yeah, I thought this trailer was absolutely incredible. Action-wise, just mind-blowing, some of the action sequences. Some of the visuals as well, that shot of Jean Grey, the young Jean Grey, it goes into her eye. Plus hearing the narration of Professor X saying the mind is a fragile thing. Takes only the slightest tap to send it in the wrong direction. That was a great line. Clearly he's very fearful of this character, the fragility of her mind. And just this Dark Phoenix that's lying in within her, it's very powerful if it comes out. Not even he can control it. And that's very intriguing. We see it all the way through. He's a very troubled man who's Charles. She seeks help from him. He says, I can't help you, because he's fearful of her. And then we see her going to Magneto later on in the film as a much older Jean Grey, but still young. She's not ancient by any means. And again, he is basically saying to her, you're not asking me for help, you're asking me for permission. And it was a great trailer. I had worries about this film when I heard about the reshoots and stuff. I want this to be a fitting conclusion. I feel like this is going to be the finale for these characters and the actors that are playing them. In this version, I feel like we're going to get new takes on these characters once Marvel and Disney get their hands on them and try and bring them into the MCU. But there's some amazing moments in there. The car crash with the young Jean Grey. Obviously, I think this is her parents dying, and we see her inadvertently using the powers and the glass, the fragments of glass, freeze in front of her. That was epic. There's just some amazing epic visuals. The moment where Xavier is sitting in his chair, you says he looks like a bit of a dwarf, Steve. He looks quite small. But that fiery moment, I think that's clear. It's maybe the Dark Phoenix is trying to take over him, manipulate him in some way. We see a funeral scene. Could this be hints that Mystique's dying? There is a moment where the Beast is standing over her, looking very forlorn. She's turned into a bit of a heroic figure. Also, she was a villain at the start of this take of the characters, the younger take. And we see an amazing shot of an island. I believe it's the island of Genosha, which is a secret island hideaway of Eric's, where he takes a whole host of mutants. It's a sort of a haven for him. He's built up this safe place for mutants under his rule. And we see her just the Jean character searching for answers throughout this whole trailer. She's a very conflicted young woman, and I love the fact that it's going back to her as shots of her as young, and then we'll fast forward, and it just looks like a very intriguing story to me. Jessica Chastain, I think she's playing the villain. We still don't know the name of this villain or antagonist. She looks very intriguing as well. Looks like a bit of an albino with those eyebrows. Very good actress, incidentally. Apparently she's playing a shapeshifter, Stephen, who's going to manipulate Jean's force for her own ends. So all in all, very intriguing trailer. So many moments in there. We could probably spend an hour breaking it down, Stephen.
Yeah, one of the things about the character that always frustrated me in those original X-Men films, played by Famke Janssen, I can't remember the lady's name, but she always had the potential, but we never really got to see it. With X-Men 2, yeah, we saw the sort of full destruction of her powers, but it was because they were dealing with so many characters at that point in the X-Men universe, they couldn't really dedicate enough time to the character as I would have liked. Simon Kinberg, the director, I don't really know anything he's done. I know more of his producing. He was certainly involved in Logan, Fantastic Four, and X-Men Days of Future Past. But as far as directing goes, I'm not really sure if I know any of his movies, whether or not he's done any directing prior to this release. The tone of this film as well seems to be going down a more darker route, John, to previous X-Men films with these cast members. It's nearly been a decade of these cast members. James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, Michael Fassbender, Nicholas Hoult as well. It's hard to believe that we're nearly 10 years since that first movie. We're going to see a death in this movie. We certainly did see a funeral scene in the rain. Charles Xavier looking very sombre, but that raises the question, who is it they are burying? A lot of people are saying that it's Mystique. I don't know about that, because that would certainly conflict some of the timelines, but as we know, X-Men timelines are a little bit like Terminator. They kind of shift when it suits them.
We need a poster, Steve, with all these alternative timelines to help us out here.
But overall, John, I liked the trailer. I thought it was a good introduction for this this instalment. I think you're right. I think it's going to be the last one we see with this existing cast, and hopefully they'll go out with a bang.
Yeah, I mean, other things I'd add, Stephen, that shot with them standing off with Jean Grey, those suits, very cool looking suits. We see more police cars getting flung about like kids' toys, as they do in these films. We've seen Magneto doing this before. Jean taking down a helicopter as well, casual as you like. But we see again the conflict in her after she's doing all these things. Obviously, this film's going to be all stitched together in all ways. These aren't going to be sequentially happening as they do in the film, but we see remorse from her. She's sitting, breaking her heart. She's obviously very conflicted, as I did say. There's a lot of characters conflicted. We see the Beast looking a little bit angry at Charles. Charles, I think, is going to have a key part to play in this. Maybe not stepping in and helping this character when she was at her lowest ebb. the Dark Phoenix then unleashes in her later in the trailer, as we do see. Very powerful figure, her force. And this is also going to have ramifications for all these characters. But just the coolest moment for me was that moment when the Phoenix Force emerges from, presumably Jean Grey. And it's a very, very cool moment indeed. Final thing I'll add, Magneto gets his helmet. So that was a very cool moment. We're going to see him maybe stepping into the shoes as the villain at the end of this film. It's a role he's not alien to. But I'm giving it away, Stephen. It's a very, very, very good trailer. Yeah. Better than I expected, because I had my real doubts about this film.
I'm going to move on to our final trailer discussion of the week. This came out, this was actually out before the other two we just spoke about. It's Bumblebee, and it really certainly was one that caught my eye when it came out. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I know that I've not seen previous Transformer movies, it's not my thing, but when I saw this, it kind of had a Transformer-y feel to it, obviously, with the visuals and stuff like that, but also there was a kind of E.T. element to it as well, the sort of outsider being looked after by the Earthling, doesn't fit in, and then you've got John Cena in there playing Agent Burns. He's on hot in the trail of this this Bumblebee character, which kind of doubles up as a yellow Volkswagen Beetle. And before I let you in, John, I didn't know it was connected to Transformers. I saw this as some kind of just a film that sees this outsider try to fit into the world, and is taken under the wing by the young girl played in this film by Haley Steinfeld, who I don't really know too much about, but overall I liked the trailer. Visually it was very good, well put together trailer, but I'll let you in now, John, because you've had past experience where you've had your fingers burnt with previous trailers from Transformers movies where they look absolutely stunning, and you can't really say the same for the actual outcome of the movie. Yeah,
it's just a recurring theme for every Transformers film in the history of man. The trailers are an epic experience. They get your hopes built up, and then the film turns out to be another turd. That's the way it is with Transformers. I hope this is not the way it is with Bumblebee, because this does look very intriguing. I can't lie, I didn't know it was connected to Transformers either. I don't know if this is a sort of prequel or a sequel to the events. It's set in the 1980s, maybe an offshoot, yeah. It's apparently set in 1987, as you did say. Bumblebee finds refuge in a junkyard in a small Californian beach town. Charlie, on the cusp of turning 18, we hear her say that at the beginning of the trailer. 18, in fact it's today, my birthday. She tries to find her place in the world. She discovers Bumblebee, battle scarred and broken, and they kind of a connect, because this is a similar concept. Bumblebee himself is trying to find his place in the world. So these are like two similar souls. They connect to form a friendship, and they become immersed in this journey. And we see the likes of Optimus Prime coming in towards the end when all hell breaks loose. Very intriguing to see John Cena potentially playing an antagonistic role. And this guy usually plays heroic figures, the good guy, or he's the butt of the jokes in films like Blockers. But he looks intriguing here as the villain. We've got a very, very good cast. Haley Steinfeld was the young girl on the age of 17. That was a fantastic film. Really good performance from her. Angela Bassett's in there. She's in the Mission Impossible films. Justin Theroux as well. Great actor. Stroke musician, I believe. I think he was in Moana. Pretty sure he played the big crusty crab in that. And you've got a whole host of other guys like there, as I did say. John Cena, Peter Cullen coming back as Optimus Prime. And I don't know how it's all going to interconnect. I really don't. But much like every other Transformer trailer in the history of man, some amazing visuals, some amazing action set pieces. I thought the CG looked incredible. Some of the moments where we've got Bumblebee crouching in through doors and stuff like that, and planting his self down on the couch. I did say to you that was like that was very reminiscent of a moment that I had, Stephen, when I'd mixed about 7 drinks: wine, champagne, cider, beer, Bailey's, which was out of date, gin, vodka, everything, man. And it was like Exorcist spewing after it, but I sat down in a chair and I bust it. And he did it in this trailer as well. Very intriguing, very charming, very cuddly figure, this big towering Transformer. But he looks like an intriguing. You can feel the humanity, even though he's not human. Even though he's not human, you can feel that. You can feel the soul in him, if you know what I mean, coming out of him. And there's a cool moment when John Cena's character actually uses Charlie to get to him. He flings her out of the way, or throws her out of the way, and you see him, his eyes changing. His eyes, the nice friendly eyes flick up, and these more serious ones come down. And that's basically that moment where he's saying, "I mean business now, no more Mr. Nice Guy." And that's when it all kicks off. We see all the action, the main Transformer guys coming in. We see chases and all sorts of crazy crap happening. But I've been burnt too many times with the Transformer franchise to get my hopes up with this one. I'll see what the critical reception is. I'll see what people are saying when it releases, and I'll take it from there. But very good trailer.
Yeah, it's a very good trailer, John. And someone coming in like myself, who's unknown to the franchise, I think it's a clever way of marketing it by keeping the name Transformers at a distance from the title Bumblebee. Just looking at the director as well, John, Travis Knight. Now, you did mention this earlier on, that he also did Kubo and the Two Strings, a movie that you reviewed last year and you thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's one of my favourite stop motion films in the last 5 or 6 years. Fantastic film.
The Isle of Dogs, as I recall.
Isle of Dogs, yeah.
But I don't know too much about Travis Knight. But
he's only done 2 films, Steve.
Yeah, you know, as far as I know that he's done a bit of producing on the likes of Paranorman, which I do know. That was a good movie as well, from about 5 or 6 years ago. But I don't know too much about the chap himself. But this comes out on the 21st of December in the US. We're a week later, we're just after Christmas on the 28th. We've got to wait a week longer for this. So we'll certainly get the feedback from the internet on this in those 7 days apart, whether or not it's going down well or not. But certainly we'll keep our eyes peeled for those reviews coming in over that 7-day period before we either decide to go and see this or not.
Yeah, the final thing I'll add, Stephen, is that there's a clear distinction between, I think, the Transformers and this. This is a much more, I don't know, he's a cuddlier figure. He's formed this connection. He's got those friendly eyes. It seems like a different figure, and they're making a clear distinction between this and the Transformers series by getting a guy like Travis Knight in, who's worked a lot on stop motion films, as you did say, Paranorman. So this is a guy who's not got a huge amount of experience with these big animation films. So it'll be intriguing to see how it plays into that main Transformers universe and how tonally it will maybe mesh in. I don't know if it will mesh in.
One thing, another thing it did remind me of was Short Circuit. It had that kind of storyline to it with the Johnny Five character. This is certainly Johnny Five on steroids, but that kind of outsider character that doesn't understand human behaviour, doesn't understand why this John Cena character is on his pursuit or anything like that. But we'll certainly know more about it as we get possibly another trailer, TV spots and stuff like that. It'll maybe reveal more to the likes of me, who is not a big Transformers fan. But we're going to move on to our next topic, John. This is going back to the comic book here. It's Birds of Prey have announced that Mary Elizabeth Winstead wins the role of Huntress, and Journey Smollett-Bell is Black Canary. Certainly, if you've got a double-barreled name, you've certainly got a chance of appearing in this movie. Certainly, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who I do know from previous films, 10 Cloverfield Lane. She appeared in Fargo as well, the television series, as I recall. And if you don't really know too much about the likes of Black Canary and Huntress, Black Canary is also known as Dina Lance, who is a street fighter known for her shrieking cry. Huntress has taken different forms in the DC universe, though in the Warner Brothers series Birds of Prey she was the daughter of Batman, who disappeared after the death of her mother Catwoman. The Huntress is in the series worked with Oracle and Black Canary's daughter as the primary crime fighters in Gotham City. In the movie, Huntress is a former mafia princess who, like Batman, saw her family killed at a young age, hence why she becomes a vigilante. So what's your take on this, John? Obviously they will join Margot Robbie, who will be reprising her role as Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. It's going to be very interesting to see how more cast members are announced as time goes on, because obviously this is going to begin into production very shortly, because it's coming out I think early February, so it's really in motion at the moment. But it's good to see that some accomplished actors are taking part in this project.
I like the casting of Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Really enjoyed her in 10 Cloverfield Lane, and obviously she was also in Death Proof as well, so she's a very talented actress, and it'll be intriguing to see what she brings to the character. I can't lie, I don't know a huge amount about the Huntress character. I've seen Black Canary, I believe she popped up in the Arrow series, so I know a little bit more about her. I don't know a huge amount about Journey Smollett-Bell. No, I've never heard of her in my life. I don't know any of the things she's been in. I had a little look at her cinematography. Don't know anything about her, so I can't really comment on what she's going to bring to that character. But I find it interesting in this article that they say that Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, will not be appearing in the feature, which is intriguing because there was a lot of talk that she would be. So certainly we've got Black Canary, we've got Huntress, we've also got Harley Quinn played by Margot Robbie. I presume there's going to be more than that. I don't know who else is going to pop up, but it's intriguing. We're getting more and more news about this, and I'm impressed by the casting of Mary Elizabeth Winstead, because she's a very, very good actress, and I can't wait to see what more comes out about this film, because this is taking front and centre over Superman, over Batman, and over a Joker,
and also over the Suicide Squad 2, John, as we were talking about when we were talking about the Jared Leto news.
So better get it right, Stephen.
I actually picked that up wrong, John. It's February 2020, not 2019. So this is not going into production as of yet. I think there's only 3 cast members that have been announced at the moment, anyway, and Margot Robbie, Winstead, and Smollett-Bell as well.
Yeah, and also Kathy Yan directing.
Yeah, so it's very early days, but this is where it all begins, with the announcement of cast members, and then we'll see some behind the scenes shots like we're seeing with the Joker movie at the moment with Joaquin Phoenix. It's starting to the ball's starting to roll on that production as well, and this is a movie I'm looking forward to seeing. Actually, I think this is one of the more sensible moves from DC. Yeah, we all want to see more Man of Steel, we all want to see more Dark Knight movies, but they're well established characters. These ones are, as you said, John, I only know Black Canary from the Arrow series. I didn't know too much about the character beforehand, so it's going to be very interesting to see these characters being portrayed on the big screen. Certainly is one of the big films of the next couple of years from DC, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I did say, it's front and centre, so it'll be very intriguing to see how it does. Obviously, Margot Robbie, I think, is helping producing it as well. So I'm sure it'll be a very good film nonetheless. It'll be intriguing to see what other characters do pop up. I believe it was usually a 4-strong, a quartet of characters that make up the Birds of Prey. I'm pretty sure it was from the comic run. So I'm sure there'll be another one announced, but certainly what they've announced so far looks very intriguing. With Margot Robbie in there as Harley Quinn, you know you're going to get a great performance from her. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, very good actress, as I did say, without repeating myself. And without knowing a huge amount about this Journey Smollett-Bell lady, I'm pretty sure she'll do a good job. Because one thing I have no criticisms of with DC and Warner Brothers over the years is their casting choices. I think they've been bang on in the main. Just the writing and the overall choices, and then going a little bit dark in tone, and then try to react instead of just planning things out and doing what Marvel do, having a clear direction you want to go. The casting decisions haven't been bad. Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Ezra Miller, Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, pretty good across the board, so I'm sure they'll have nailed it again.
We're all looking forward to Aquaman as well. Jason Momoa is he's plays a big part in the DC universe, but from what we've seen so far anyway, and I'm pretty sure that Aquaman will be a success for DC. As to Shazam, I think they're
that looks good.
It does. It looks interesting, and I think it's certainly a movie that looks like it's not going to take itself too serious. There's going to be a lot of comedy in there as well, and it's refreshing to see that DC are going down that road as well with that character. But we're going to move on, John, to our final article of this week on the Movie Burner News, and it's there's a Rocketman image being revealed for the first look of Taron Egerton as Elton John. I'm not digging those boots he's wearing, I've got to be honest with you, but this is certainly part of the day when Elton John was certainly one of the most flamboyant characters of the 1970s, John.
Yes.
He certainly had questionable fashion sense, and certainly in the eye area as well. He was very famous for his eyewear, some outrageous spectacles, and certainly as a person was an outrageous spectacle as well.
He was indeed, but a very talented man, very talented musician and singer. Completely agree, don't like his fashion taste. Those shoes actually do look like a pair of Adidas original trainers that were out a number of years back. They had the wings on them. I would never have been seen dead in them myself, but listen, they're actually small heels compared to some of the heels that I seen Elton John wearing. Certainly when he was hanging around with John Lennon, those two liked to wear their heels, my God. There was 2.5 and 3 inch heels going around there, and these weren't particularly small men. That was just the craze back then. Certainly maybe still a craze for those with height issues these days. But listen, I'm getting sidetracked here. Taron Egerton, very good actor. Really enjoyed him in a number of films. And I didn't know anything about this film, Stephen. I can't lie, I didn't know what was happening. Looks like we're quite a bit along because this is a set photo. And apparently it is due to release on the 31st of May next year. So it must be well into production. And he looks absolutely nailed on as Elton John. He visually looks perfect. I think he's about the same size as him. And he's got the hair down, he's got the glasses down, he's got the shiny glittery gold jacket down, those horrendous 80s socks with the big boots, as we did say, and it looks like a pair of shorts. I hope he's not sitting cross-legged in the buff there, but it looks an amazing period piece. They're on a private jet. That is very 80s, that sofa, and they do say it's a surprisingly authentic makeover for Egerton, donning the sparkly orange tinted specs and some unenviable hair. Well, yeah, it is unenviable. It's quite fitting that he's wearing a wig, because he is wearing a wig, and Elton's currently wearing a wig as well, unless that's some amazing advanced hair transplant that he's found himself. But listen, even the director, I believe it's Dexter Fletcher, he's a great director. It's apparently been produced by Matthew Vaughn's Marv Studios, and it looks like a really, really good period piece. You've obviously seen Eddie the Eagle. I never seen it, Stephen, and it was a very good film. And did that star Taron Egerton as well? So he's worked with Hugh Jackman, so he's worked with him before. But we seem to be getting these period piece films coming out for classic 80s and 70s artists. We've obviously got Bohemian Rhapsody coming out, and now we're getting Rocket Man, an uncensored human story. And my God, I'd like to see this guy's backstory, because he has had some life. He's mixed with some of the greatest musicians in history, and he's had a crazy life. The guy's got an extravagant lifestyle, dating way back 30-40 years, and I'd love to see his story, and I'd definitely go and watch this. It's ticking all the boxes, period piece, but an interesting figure who I do enjoy, and a great actor as well.
I think Matthew Vaughn, he's good friends with Dexter Fletcher. I think they worked on, I know Dexter Fletcher had a small role in Kick-Ass, so he's a good friend of his, both English chaps. This is Matthew Vaughn's studios that is going to be producing this, so I think Matthew Vaughn, he's got a lot of faith in Dexter Fletcher as a director, and as I said, I liked Eddie the Eagle. I thought it was quite a under the radar movie. It came out, it wasn't in the cinemas too long. It seemed to be in there for maybe about a month or so, and then it was on Netflix, where I picked it up. It was an interesting story. I do remember the story of Eddie the Eagle from 1988 at the Winter Olympics, and I thought there was a few things in it that had to make the story a little bit more interesting. The Hugh Jackman character was certainly created for the film. He didn't exist in real life. As far as this movie goes, it's going to be interesting. It doesn't actually say anywhere in the article that I can see anyway that Elton John has got any input in this film. I would imagine that he would have some input into the content. Certainly they would have to ask his permission. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, because I don't really know too much about Elton John's private life at that period. Certainly in his the latter days of his career, he's been more public, but that period, sort of early 70s to the mid 70s. I don't know when this is actually set. If it's
I think it's just through his whole career, Stephen. As you do know, Stephen, he was hanging around with John Lennon in the mid 70s when that guy was on a Lost Weekend. That Lost Weekend was a year-long bender. And he was on all sorts of drugs and drink, and Macca had to go in and step it in and save him. So he was mixing with him during those days, and that's just an insight into 1 year in this life. This guy's had a manic life, man, and as you can read in that line, I don't know if you want to read it, Steve, it's R-rated. It's an R-rated musical.
I think it's the first, isn't it?
I've never heard of an R-rated musical in my life, so that'll be intriguing to see. It's going to have drugs, sex and rock and roll. What do you want, man?
Yep, and we're going to just finish up with this, John. This is a new segment that we're going to do at the end of every Movie Burner news. And it's over the week that we put out some Twitter polls there. Certainly this one had tremendous feedback, John, 288 votes. It was only posted for one day last week, and it certainly blew up as far as we were concerned here at Movie Burner Entertainment. And the simple question was, which one of these 4 Edgar Wright films is the best? And coming in, the choices were Baby Driver, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz and The World's End. And the results went as follows. Baby Driver had 31%, Shaun of the Dead, clear winner, 33%, Hot Fuzz with 31%, and sadly The World's End only got 5%.
Yeah.
That's not to say it's a bad film, it was just up against superior movies.
Yeah, everybody wanted Scott Pilgrim versus The World to be in there instead of The World's End. We screwed up, Stephen. What can we say? Edgar Wright's made some amazing films. Sadly, he's made too many to fit into a poll of just 4.
Yeah.
And it's a 25 character limit as well for each of the choices. So Scott Pilgrim versus The World would have been pushing it. And I picked Shaun of the Dead because I just think it's an incredible film. It's my favourite Edgar Wright film, but as I did say, the guy's been involved in so many incredible films already in his career, not just directing, but just everything he touches is just gold. Shaun of the Dead was the clear winner for me because it's my favourite film from him. It stood the test of the time. It's a modern day classic, full of everything. It's got gore, action, violence, comedy, and it's got Simon Pegg doing what he does best. And I love Baby Driver as well. I loved Hot Fuzz. It was very difficult, very good poll, a lot of competition in there, a lot of votes, and I'm glad Shaun of the Dead won.
Yeah, I picked Shaun of the Dead as well, John. I did say on Twitter, it did take me a while to appreciate The World's End.
Yeah.
First time I saw it, I didn't really want to it, but I think I caught it on Sky Movies or something like that, maybe a couple of years ago. I've done a movie review on this actually. I think I've done all the Cornetto trilogy in our Movie Burner blog, but Shaun of the Dead for me is a clear winner. I think it was very close though, to be honest with you. You know, you look at that 31% for both Baby Driver and Hot Fuzz. It's really hot in the heels of Shaun of the Dead, but I think that was the right decision in the end. Yeah, sadly we couldn't put Unforgiven in there, Stephen. Every time we do a poll with Unforgiven in it, it just runs away. Jesus Christ. But I digress. I'll be intrigued to see what other polls we're going to be firing up in the future and how much competition they're going to have. I think they'll do well to beat that one in terms of closeness. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this week's episode of Movie Burner News, where we do discuss all the latest news in the entertainment world and whatnot. We'd just like to thank you for listening to us once again, and we'll be back tomorrow with the Movie Burner blog rundown. Remember guys, if you enjoyed that episode, then do hit that like button, comment below, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. If you want to follow us on social media for all the latest updates from Movie Burner Entertainment, then we can be found on Twitter and Facebook at Movie Burners. You can also listen to us on Google Play and iTunes at the Movie Burner Podcast. And last but not least, if you want to access all the latest written reviews and the occasional article, then that can be found on our website at movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.